And I just thought, yeah, this is it. I think I've found my hoodoo in life. Right from about 6 years old, I was very sporty. One day, Dad came home. He said, well, in the back of my car, I've got some clubs. At that stage, I was first team hockey, first team tennis, first team netball, and in the athletic team. And suddenly I had another sport thrown at me, by Dad, who was very sporty himself. And that's how I really started, was in the backyard. After about a year and a half, Dad came home from work one day and he said, I found something that I think you and I will enjoy. He said, I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm going to drive there and we're going to go and play. And I thought, oh, wow, I'm really going to go on a golf course. And this is how my love for being able to be out in the open, to hit a ball off grass. And I just thought, yeah, this is it. I think I've found my hoodoo in life. It fascinated me that I had to take my body back away from the ball, keep eye contact with it, and then still bring the stick down and whop it. I finished my schooling. Then Dad joined me to a golf club. He used to drop me off and go to work and leave me there all day, really, and pick me up at 5 o'clock. We lived in a small town called East London. East London never had a female golfer. It didn't really bother me. I was just so zeroed into what I wanted to achieve. I heard one day, my dad was in the bar, and I'd been out practicing, and I came into the lounge and I sat near the bar door. I don't think they knew I was there. And they were talking about me and saying, well, why doesn't she do this and why doesn't she do that? And her drives and that are a bit crooked. She needs to get another 20 yards length to catch the men up. And that kind of silly talk, but didn't bother me. I knew that I could be good. By now, I've got a handicap, and it was about a 2 handicap, I think. We got a phone call at home one evening, and it was the South African Ladies Golf Union chairman, and she spoke to my dad and said, we'd like her to join a team that's going over to the UK and part of Europe to tour as a South African team. And it just progressed from there. And I won my first South African title in 1975, I think it was. Turned pro end of 76 and came out here for 1979. The women's WPGA, as it was then. It was mainly the British girls, really. Other countries fed in, but I can't really think of many. Susan Moon her parents brought her across because it was her first year as well. Got friendly with her and we used to practice around together. It wasn't hard getting to know some of the girls. I didn't want to get too involved because it was all too new for me. This transformation of my family's thousands of miles away from me. I'm here on my own. I've got to find the next port of call for the next tournament. Didn't have a car. Had to try and catch a lift or catch a bus or a train or something. With golf clubs and suitcase, it wasn't easy. It was a difficult year. It was a fun year. I did buy a caravan. That was quite nice for me because they became my away from home family. That was enjoyable. We were able to have barbecues together and drink wine and beer and chill out and go sightseeing on our days off. We used to have a lot of fun, and yeah, I had successes. I won a few tournaments, and then my big one was obviously winning the British Open in '79 at Southport and Ainsdale. That was wonderful. At the end of '79, Chris Langford had been on tour by then. We were friendly, and she said, I think, you need to spread your wings and go and play with the big girls now in America. She said to me, you haven't travelled to America, have you? So I said, no. So she said, I'll come with you. I'll caddy for you in the tournament. And I finished 4th. And so I stayed out there for 5 years. That was like a rude awakening the first couple of years. Nobody knew me. And I was like almost frightened of them, because, oops, I'm from South Africa. I'm treading on there. I've come to take their dollars. One day I woke up and I thought, come on, get a grip. You don't need to be frightened of these girls. Show them that you can play as good as they can. on the LPGA. Never won. I think my best finish was probably 10th. There was one tournament I could have won, but the old stage fright, you know, coming down the stretch was like, oh God, you know, no, my family's not here to watch me. Maybe nobody's going to clap and they know I'm a foreigner. And then my caddy looked at me one day and he said, you look scared. Don't be scared. This is your time of your life. But he was very positive, you know. I've got somebody, he sounds like my dad now. My dad wants me to win out here. My mother wants me to win out here. I just hung around and tried my best and that, and I thought, I'm far from home. I haven't seen my parents for years. So I thought, well, you know, I'd like to turn my hand to teaching. And so I came back here to the UK and set up home and that. And I called it a day 2 years ago when I said, okay, I've had enough now. You've got to know if you're dedicated and whether you are determined to practice. If your putting is not so good, go and spend 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day putting, short, long, whatever. That's what I did. You know, when I was waiting for Dad to pick me up at 5 o'clock from the golf course, I'd already had like 2 hours putting, and the rest of the day was playing and practicing. And then in those days, I had to pick up my own range balls as well. In the WPGA years, I think more should have been done. It's easy to sit here and say that now, but more should have been done. There weren't enough staff. We didn't have enough money to pay staff to get out there and to really sell this whole thing. Now there is, it sounds like. And I think it's a turning point now, because the Solheim Cup has just done that to the tour. Now that I've had more knowledge through golf, being a club pro, a teaching pro, I've had a bit of more knowledge about what I should have done but didn't do or didn't say. But I have to say, you know, I'm thrilled with what I've achieved through golf and loved my life up to now.